There will be rock and roll in tonight's experience. It's just going to be part of an instrumental trio presented in a different way. But if you like rock, you're going to like this. If I were them, I would get there early. Because you won't see this again. They're serious players. It's just not rock songs with lyrics. But three really great players, especially Laurie, who has a new album out. She has always been doing this particular kind of music that fits in with what I do, and John does without changing anything. And she's been doing it all along. Laurie's very beautiful and charming, so you don't notice that she's hammering at you. She has one of the greatest violin sounds known to man, starting from 1977, that no one can replicate. And if all the people got to hear was that would be pretty good, but you're going to hear more.
But also the blend of these three styles is something that I've never heard before. We're pretty different in terms of where we come from and what we do. So it's a huge amount of fun to play this music.
Are you starting from, is there a starting point?
100% improvised, and we're just trying to tune into the energies of each other and see where it goes. It's the only way you can do this. It's not a set piece, it never will be, it never could be. It's not in any known key.
Yeah, I think it's what makes it really exhilarating and also really terrifying. I've never done a show where I walked out and had no idea, really no idea, what the first sound would be or where it was going to go. And
That's what we have to do.
we had a sound check, yeah, but we don't really know what we're building until we start. We're just building something. I always feel it's kind of like a big, kind of a boat that then you can turn it different ways and look at it, and it's fascinating. I never played music like this before, so but there's something really architectural about it, you know, and very sort of narrative as well.
So architectural and narrative.
I walk through a big, strange building.
Why not? We're the rhythm section. If you mean, there's just this three, right? There's no drummer unless it's Laurie doing something.
I work with a lot of electronic rhythms and patterns, so they might float through or not. What I really want to do as a violinist, you have your head right next to this instrument, and you hear a lot of things that the audience would never hear. You hear this grinding, you hear overtones, you hear harmonics. And my goal as a player is to pull those sounds, those gritty, crunchy things up off the noise floor and bring them into audible range. So, because I'm not really interested in electronics as here's this perfect sound from my box into your box. I like music that's coming through some real air and played by real people. So there's a lot of grinding and real sounds in this so-called electronic rig that I have. So it's gritty. So I think that's one of the reasons that it can work in a world like Lou's and work in a world like John's that are really super vivid, instruments played by real people, not since they're moving a little bit. You can hear a real person playing these things. So that's an exciting thing for me now.
Are you talking about Homeland?
Yeah.
Art Dog's debut as a pianist.
I would like to say something about Lola, who's working on she's a rat terrier, and she's playing a pretty cool thing with Zorn in a song called Bodies in Motion on my record home. She's just finishing her Christmas album, so watch out for that. And she's she's a studio dog. She's heard every record that both of us have made. She just sits in the studio and listens, and that's kind of their job. It's his master's voice dog with the big ears, and so a huge amount of focus when they hear music, and they love music. And so they can listen to it like studio rats, like for thousands of times. Let's hear that mix for the thousandth time. Okay, good. That's good. Let's use this a little bit different. And so she's. But one of the projects that Lou and I just did was in Sydney, where one of the things we did was there was a big festival called Vivid, and we invited a lot of our favorite musicians to come. And one of the projects that we did there was called Music for Dogs, and it was a concert for dogs. And it was just a really great experience, sort of inspired by Local Ballad. And thousands and thousands of dogs arrived at this show, and all sitting on the steps of the Sydney Opera House. And it was, a lot of people say, you know, my dog likes classical music. And I think really just, you know, in a way, to anesthetize them. The same reason you play classical music in kindergarten, so they go to sleep on their towels, you know. But so a lot of people said that. So we played a lot of different kinds of things for them in this 20-minute show, there were a lot of rocker dogs there who just wanted to jump up and down, you know. And anyway, it was my favorite part of the audience was the front row, which was all the droolers. These dogs are just. And anyway, it was a wonderful experience that interspecies experiences. Yeah, it's fun. Well, I've been talking to, about a year ago, Yo-Yo Ma and I were sitting backstage, you know, I don't know, we were wearing motorboat hats. So I guess about to give a, I don't know, commencement address or something like this. And it was very boring, very hot. We were waiting in the green room, and we were just kind of like, what would you like to do? What do you like to do now? And I realized that one of my biggest fantasies was to be playing the violin and looking out, and the audience would all be dogs. This would be like, that's so fantastic. He said, that's my fantasy too, because he's a dog lover too. So.
From my point of view, I think you have to be really careful you don't turn into Las Vegas or that kind of a show or song. And you go to pretty big lengths, which is actually easy, just don't take those things. Just stay away from that, so there's a reality to it. And I'm very, very aware of all that. And the opportunity to make some early money and be turned into a shoe brand was really always sitting over there laughing at you. You know, as young people come up playing their songs and this, and your song and your audience, they say, well, why don't you do a commercial with that for $2 million for the Super Bowl and you can appear in the middle in Spangles? Well, because I never got into this to do that. I'm a rock and roll person through and through. I don't do that. I never will do that. I'll go out with my shield that way, but I'll have some company with some other players who don't do that.
This concert
Fearless night of non-rock.